I get that wrong, I will shove a pipe cleaner in my tushy.
Don't ruin my punishment. Don't ruin my punishment. Hey, y'all. Welcome to Phriendly Pod, where a couple of wankers break down some tunes and some topics before embarrassing themselves at a mystery game, with the loser risking sure embarrassment through a random punishment. Today, I'll be your host. My name's Ben. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, by the way, Phriendly Pod, at Phriendly Pod, and subscribe to our goofy sessions on, the tube. Follow our two carefully calibrated playlists on Spotify, Phriendly Phinds for our weekly one, and Phriendly Phinds Forever for the culmination of all of our hard work. For those that don't know me, I'm a bit of a connoisseur, and I'm excited to have these host duties to carry this torch. I'm ready for the Olympic Games. But let's get started. Mike, how are you doing?
Hey, good. Glad to be here, guys.
Excellent. Steve?
Doing great. It was a warm day today, and I was outside for most of it. It was beautiful.
Some of my fondest memories of Steve, for those of you that are, unfamiliar with him, in college, Steve used to lose his mind every time it got nice out, to the point where you kind of thought he was like a dog that needed to go outside. He would rub grass in his face and things like that, just to really feel spring. He wanted to feel it in his bones.
That sounds like Steve.
Yeah,
that's how I think of
like
Steve when I
something
think
I
of
would
Steve.
do.
Yeah, sounds like it's classic Steve.
Steve.
When we were playing basketball earlier, he was just on all fours, rubbing his cheek on the ground.
Yeah, and sniffing your ass.
I knew it.
We don't have to be outside for him to be doing that.
Yeesh.
There you go.
I'm groovy. I'm still kind of confused as to what kind of connoisseur you are, but
All things. Sniffing butts. Weird friends. I like to collect weird friends. Speaking of those,
Well done on that.
Josh, how you doing?
I'm Josh, and I'm feeling good. I had a good day. I'm happy. I'm a lot like Steve in the manner that I'm not sniffing Zach's ass or rolling in the grass, but I enjoyed the sun today. I had the windows open and got to feel like I was actually doing something that wasn't sitting in front of a computer. So, yeah.
Wow.
What?
you'd be sniffing
Good
my
day.
ass if
Wow.
you lived within distance.
I mean, if I was within 100 miles, I'd be sniffing that beehole for sure.
Yeah. After you guys play a quick game of b-ball, I feel like I can almost smell your beehole from here.
Woo.
Dude, you have no idea.
You're not wrong.
Ripe.
I still need to shower.
Ooh.
God.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we're doing this virtually then.
Yeah.
So, as host, I enjoy good music, craft beer, and making fun of my friends. Spring has sprung. I'm definitely feeling fresh. I'm definitely feeling spry, and I'm excited to shepherd us through this wonderful journey. So let's start with Phriendly Phinds, our weekly playlist where we put some music together. I'd like to start with Mike. Now, Mike comes in with a little chip on his shoulder, if I'm correct. Last time around, Josh told him, in really harsh terms, that Mike's songs weren't good for the gym, which was about it was about the meanest thing he could say.
It was 33% of his songs. That's all.
It was about the meanest thing he could say. So, Mike, go ahead.
I put on a very nice, meaningful country song, and I've been doing that. So this time around, I said that, and I dropped 3 bangers. Okay, that's 2.
Agreed.
For cursing. A beautiful Legend of Zelda rendition by August Burns Red that's incredible. A really good Of Mice and Men song that is a little soft but has some crazy fun choruses. What I really want to highlight is, and we've done this before, is everything like Travis Barker is everywhere right now, and he's just on every track. So he collaborated with Atreyu for this song Warrior. I think Atreyu might even have a new lead singer now, but the song's fun. It's about kind of going out there and persevering and searching for the light at the end of the tunnel. So I think it's a fun song, and those are 3 bangers that Josh can pump iron to at the gym.
I did today. Thank you.
There you
Yep.
go. So he came with the hard music for you. I listened to that Atreyu song, and I, I couldn't help but think it definitely rips in some parts, but it's also kind of butt rocky.
Yes.
It's not like necessarily a bad thing, but it's definitely got some butt rock to it.
Butt rack.
But it's got a butt rack too.
It's normally not my favorite, but I liked it.
Mike and I have a very specific Atreyu song from our past that we like to play when we're together and break stuff. So Atreyu is near and dear to our hearts, I know.
I got to give it up to Mike too. The August Burns Red Legend of Zelda that he mentioned is awesome because it's the original song, but they make it their own in like a pretty amazing way. And I turned it on today thinking, I was like, this is going to be kind of hokey and everything. I was like, it's Mike's song, so it's probably going to suck. And it's the first one on the playlist.
Nice.
I turned it on and I immediately was like, the blood pressure went up. I felt good. I even caught a whiff of Zach's asshole all the way in Philly, and I lifted, man.
You're
it
welcome.
Felt good. Thank you.
I'm sure you lifted more than you were. I mean, you were playing a video game.
Yeah.
Mike put three songs in there before anyone else put any. So
Yeah, that's true.
They were all big middle fingers to Josh, just to be clear.
Yes.
But before we get to Josh's response, let's talk to Steve about his song.
Yeah, so I posted
Sorry.
I posted a cover actually, and it's a cover of "Float On" by Modest Mouse by Phil Good. And Phil Good is a weird dude. You should check out his Instagram. It's really weird. He's just like some random white dude. I don't know. But to me, the reason why I put it on there was it's essentially Float On if done by a male version of Imogen Heap in my mind. He's got the same like weird voice modulator in the beginning. And immediately I was like, it took me back into like one of our cars in high school when someone would blare Imogen Heap because it was like the weird stuff that we would listen to that wasn't, like pop.
Whose car is this?
I still
Whose car is it?
still blare Imogen Heap when I go snowboarding. So
I mean, if you mean Blair Imogen Heap by playing "What You Say" by Jason Derulo, then I absolutely do that.
No, because we listened to that song before that song came out, and we were all like, "Yo, we knew what the song is." Like, I remember having that yelling match in Zach's basement when that song came out.
Okay.
everything Jason Derulo has ever done can lick the underside of my ass.
I've seen him live, dude, so I wish you would take it back.
Yeah.
I mean, you played basketball with Jason Derulo, right? That happened.
All right. Well, I'm pretty
That
sure
already
next
happened.
in 2 weeks I'm gonna put 3 Jason Derulo songs on the playlist. So
That's how it works.
They all,
Jason
they all
Derulo.
start the same.
So
Jason
don't tune
Derulo.
into our playlist ever again.
That's right. Don't listen. Or see if I'm full of crap. All right.
Hey, Steve.
Yes.
Your song made me feel good.
Thank you.
Oh, what a sweet review.
That's so nice.
Zach, what song did you pick?
I made an oopsie with the swear words.
I missed it. Damn, I gotta find that timestamp.
That's
Steve's
okay.
pick
I was put on blast for my uses of the good swears. So the song I put in there, and it's super interesting that Steve mentioned Imogen Heap, because I was gonna do that when I talk about my song. My song is "The Moon Is Blue" by Future Islands, and the lead singer of this band is so weird.
Yeah.
As is the song.
He kind of sounds like the male voice from Aqua, like "Hiya, Barbie." Hi, Karen. But he has this like outrageous range of like, and I don't mean range like in the typical sense where you're talking. I don't know what you're doing right now, but I fucking hate it. He has like a genre range from like super crazy baritone spoken word to he released his own rap album under a different moniker called Hemlock Ernst, and that's like his heavy influence is from hip hop actually. But the band is basically just a good version of Coldplay.
Wow.
Okay.
Shots fired at Coldplay. Mike, I expect 3 Coldplay songs next week.
Holy shit.
All right.
I thought that song sucked, so now these are fine words.
I thought immediately that his voice reminded me of a song from like Halloween, like the Monster Mash guy.
Holy smokes, Steve! I had the same exact thought. I listened to the song and I thought this sounds like something I would play at Halloween.
Right?
No,
Like it's like kind of creepy.
Wait. Just so the listeners know, we should probably play a clip of the actual song.
Yeah.
So let's just play a clip of the song. Yeah, just this.
It was a graveyard smash.
That's it. Yeah, that was it. That was the song. That was the song.
Not the song. I played the playlist, you asshole. No. But
all right.
I was gonna say, like, their whole discography is like super eclectic, and it's like the perfect snowboarding music.
I could see that. I
don't think they have a bad song, and the fact that Mike doesn't like it only reinforces the fact that it's good music.
Excellent. All right. So, guys, tune in for next week's playlist. There'll be 3 Jason Derulo and 3 Coldplay songs so far.
I want this revenge playlist action.
Ooh, that's a great themed episode.
Friendly Phinds Revenge.
I'm just gonna put 3 good songs on there.
That'd be the first time you've ever done that.
Oh snap! Oh snap!
I don't think you want to throw stones in glass houses, my buddy.
Hey Josh, what song did you put on the playlist this week?
All right, so I know Mike and Zach are in a little bit of a tiff right now, but I have to give it to Zach. Zach is the reason for all my songs this week. He introduced me. He mentioned it in an episode. I don't know when it will come out at this point, but he mentioned a band called Polyphia.
I was wondering if this is what it came from.
So the name itself kind of like, because I remember Mike said Polyphia. I'm not throwing you under the bus or causing any more issues, but I use the word, in music you use the word a lot, polyphony. So it's obviously from that. So I took a listen. It is the most incredible like musicianship in this stuff. So I picked the song "The Worst" by Polyphia. These guys, they originally started, and the band has changed over time, but basically they are started with classical music, and now they're just kind of redefining. And Zach also mentioned in that episode he likes stuff that genre bends, and there's no other way to describe this because it's the perfect mesh of kind of like heavy metal, like pure metal with like math rock, and everybody kind of has a different lane in it. And what's really cool is the other song I put on there is called Real, and it's actually by a band called Unprocessed, but Tim Henson, who's the guitarist in Polyphia, and Clay, who's the bassist in Polyphia, are on the track. And if you tune in to 225 on Real, if you follow the playlist, you will be introduced to some of the best bass playing you'll ever hear. Tim Henson, I think from listening, he's going to be, you're going to read about him. I think in the videos I've watched, he looks 19, and the way that he writes music, I think their guitarist will be the guy that you read about in history books one day.
I think he's closer to our age.
Yeah,
he's going to be the Stevie Ray Vaughan of our generation.
I mean, the way he plays, and with the risk of sounding like an asshole, I can play guitar, and I consider myself a pretty decent guitarist. But the shit that he plays, the way he writes is, I looked into this because Zach brought it up to me via text message over the week. He kind of writes all of his stuff in the computer and then reverse engineers it to be able to play that in real life. And the fact that he's able to do that is insane because the stuff that he's doing is almost physics defying. It doesn't quite make sense how he's able to cleanly do it. And I dove in on YouTube this week because I was like, maybe it's just recording techniques and he's taking different cuts. No, this kid, he's playing it.
Yeah,
he rips, man.
He'll literally just like flip a beat from a rap song that he likes and be like, all right, I'm going to play a left-hand piano piece on top of this and then figure out how to randomly turn it into a guitar riff.
Yes. And that's the crazy thing is he's taking how he writes is he takes two hands from piano. My hands are not in the camera. Two hands from piano and then creates it into one riff. And it's something that's like mind-bending to watch. Yep. And on YouTube, he actually posts like him putting it in the computer and then him learning it and then him playing it over the final track. And it's something to behold. And then just to touch on it real quick, this other band I put on there, Nito, the song actually, I just turned on Spotify radio on Polyphia because since Zach introduced me to them, I literally just hit Polyphia radio when I go to the gym. And there's something about that kind of music just gets me going.
Yep.
They're very similar. And it's just, they're grooves and they're just great musicians. I just had such a great time and thank you to Zach. Cause I honestly, I think it was honestly they're up there now. Like, I mean, top 3 bands.
Yeah. Polyphia rips. Check out Intervals.
They seriously do. And what I'll say from my years listening to them, is some of the songs like I'll listen to and I'll think like I kind of wish there were vocals on this, and then by the end of the song I'm like convinced that vocals would ruin the song.
Yeah. What's funny about that is when I first started listening to him, I texted Zach and I was like, actually the bones of this is like a pop R&B song, which it is. Mm-hmm. So you want vocals over it.
Yep.
And then they do have tracks with features.
They do.
And every time they have a feature, I go, I wish there wasn't a feature. It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah. How many good songs have we heard that have singers in them?
Yeah.
You're like, this was so cool, and then they started singing. And you're like,
yeah,
yep.
And that guitarist Tim Henson, like honest to God, and there's no bad person in that band because they all have videos of on their own.
Yeah,
they're all freaks.
Yep.
That's the only way to describe them. They're geniuses in their instrument.
Agreed.
But that guy, Tim Henson, like you don't need a vocalist because how he writes and how he plays, he makes the guitar talk. Like that's it.
Yeah.
That's a great way to describe it. So that
sorry, I overwent, but I'm so obsessed. I'm pretty sure my neighbors are like, what the fuck is going on? Cause he's played Goat 8 times in the last 30 minutes.
If that's what you're playing over and over again, they really shouldn't complain. Like that's excellence. We'll wrap up with my track that I picked, and I picked 3 that I really enjoy right now. But the one I wanted to highlight was by an artist called 30, and it's a song called IPA. It's a summer song for sure. It's a song that you would play kind of like out back when you're hanging out with your friends, maybe playing some yard games. It's just all about drinking a couple IPAs, hanging out, broing out. It's reminds me of something I would listen to in college or in high school. And I looked up 30. I wanted to know what the heck is this guy's deal, and he's just this like young white kid who makes these kind of like pop rap songs, which is kind of what you'd expect. But he has some really interesting. He's done some interesting collab work. Like he has a song with Mod Sun, who we've referenced many a time. A couple of other artists of note, like Skizzy Mars, and a couple of other artists that I'm familiar with. Nothing Nowhere is another artist I know that he's collabed with. And it's a good song. It's a fun song. It's lighthearted. The lyrics are not hard to digest in any way, shape, or form, but it's a great song for this week's episode. So I picked IPA by 30 as a kind of a message for my topic. My topic is craft beer. Many of us are at least casual craft beer fans. We drink it. We visit all kinds of breweries. We critique it. I think one time or another we've all discussed how cool it would be to have our own brewery. I want to flesh that idea out today with a creative exercise. So for those that don't know, I'm a teacher by trade, and I gave us homework. And just like I always do, the homework kind of didn't work perfectly. That's part of teacher life too. But we figured it out. with all that in mind, I created a little homework assignment. I asked them to describe what craft beer trends they love, which ones they hate, and what they see the future of craft beer to hold. So I want to start with Mike and ask him what he loves about craft beer.
Yeah, so I run this again. I'm back on the pilsners and lagers, but from a trend and fad perspective, I love fruited sours. So anything that's got a tart, heavy fruit flavor, the fruit might be conditioned so much that it goes stale in a couple days. I love it.
You want it to taste like a fruit smoothie. You don't even want to know you're drinking beer.
Yeah, well, see, that's why I preface it by saying I love pilsners and lagers. I like the taste of beer, but I like the fruit stuff. And then second to that is the milkshake IPA. So you got the milk sugar in there. What I'm drinking now is not a milkshake, but it's got the haze and the feeling of a milkshake. That's what I like.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, those New England hazy IPAs. Steve, what do you think?
Okay, so my answer was much more simple than Mike's. For me, I love coconut in general, in like my desserts specifically, but any IPA that's hazy that has coconut in it, I'm down. Like regardless of what else is in it, typically, unless it's, and we'll get to this in my dislikes, but like if it's got coconut in it and it's an IPA, I'm usually just like, man, I like this a lot. It's just something added to beer that, if you think about it in the abstract, like who would ever want to add coconut to beer in their right mind, right? Like it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. It's like, let's take a bunch of grain and then let's take this sweet, flaky fruit and throw it in there too. Like
pina colada.
Or if you're like me, add coconut to anything, and I say no.
Oh.
That's right, Josh.
What about stouts though, Steve? Does it has to be an IPA? It has to be that haze?
No, but coconut and beer, that is my favorite thing right now. A lot of people are doing it. They're doing it in weird ways, in IPAs, and as you said, stouts.
It's good.
Having it in a stout is fantastic. Coconut coupled with vanilla in a beer for me is just like, yeah. I think my first milkshake IPA ever was from Tired Hands, and it was a coconut milkshake IPA, and I haven't gone back since.
Well, they're the kings, right? They're like
the originator of the milkshake.
Yeah.
They are the MVPs, and that is what got me hooked, and now I will never go back.
Zach, what are some of your favorite craft brewery fads?
So I had two, and that is due to the COVID-19 pandemic, a whole bunch of states decided, oh, maybe you should be able to ship beer directly to your house.
He took this a different way. I love this.
So now a lot of our favorite breweries that are like way far away, you can actually just mail straight to your front porch.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And the other thing I like is now a lot of beers are like hop forward, and breweries are saying like, we brewed this with XYZ hops, or we double dry hop just this one hop. So you can kind of like formulate this brain cloud of types of hops that you enjoy more than others.
Yeah. So
now when I like walk into a beer store, I can be like, nah, f that beer. Oops, I cursed again. So like you can really like narrow down like what kind of beer you like, and
by the hops, right?
By the hops.
Yeah, like the hop
you can
profile.
literally say, I like this hop, I don't really like this hop. And that, I mean, if you just go back 10 years, you would never be able to say that.
Yeah, I'm a Nelson Sauvin truther.
All right. That's good. Maybe I think everybody needs to pick their own hop then. Keep thinking about it. We'll come around again. Josh, what's your favorite craft beer trend or
I took the question from a different perspective as well. I've been lucky enough to work with a lot of like craft small business brewers during all this. And if the reason being is my whole thing is like, I love that it breeds a culture that there's all different people in there. Like when you go to a brewery, there's a guy that's probably like a graphic designer for Squarespace, but looks like he lives in a shoebox, or like there's like my parents in there at the same time, or like this like Trump supporter from down south that loves that beer and just wants to trade you for this other beer that you brought in with you or anything. I love the culture of it. I think that's the biggest thing for me. Whereas, and I brought this up in my answer, is like, I love going to the wineries up here in like upstate New York, but it's all I hate to say this, but to give a general statement, they're all the same people. And I think in a brewery, you get all walks of life, because the thing with beer is that it's cheap. Even craft beer, which might cost more, I think it's accessible to the average person. I think it's an awesome place.
Yeah.
And I've played a lot of wineries music-wise, but I've definitely played more breweries. And I think there's also just this culture around breweries where it's live music and beer. And I think that's awesome, especially when a lot of places are kind of going the way to electronic music and DJs. I do love the culture. Regardless of bigger, small of the breweries, they all have that same vibe. That's like the one thing that brings them together.
I love that. Coming into I guess my answer, and I didn't even really, as the topic creator, I guess I didn't flesh out my answer as much as I probably should have. But hearing all of you talk, it really brings this idea of like, for me, craft beer is an extension of a hobby or something, a collection that I've just been doing my whole life, whether it was Hot Wheels, Legos, Pokemon cards, or whatever. I've always had this like collect them all mentality, and craft beer has become this extension of that. But it's this fantastic common ground that I think there's so much value to it, that the idea that you can meet so many different people, and I have met so many different people in my craft beer excursions across the United States, right? And that's the other thing that I love, is there are so many craft breweries in the country now that you can literally plan trips across the country based on just visiting craft breweries. And I think that in itself is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a small business. And I think supporting small businesses is awesome. It's important. And it's really easy when they're making delicious beer.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah.
Well said.
So, yeah. Maybe on the darker side of things, I wanted to at least give you guys a moment to think about and reflect what craft brewery trends or fads or things you don't like. So we'll start with Mike. Anything that jumps out to you and something you don't like about craft beer?
Yeah, it's a direct inverse to what I just said. So everything I like about trends, the breweries that try to do it who miserably fail. So breweries that should know their place. I know nothing about brewing beer, but we've all had a brewery that's trying the milkshake, and you drink it and you're like, this belongs in the trash can. So the thing my greatest dislike is this breweries that aren't talented to do the funky beers. They should stay in their lane. I can list one. Please delete that after I say it.
Yeah, bleep that out.
Beep.
Let me get a timestamp. Okay.
Good. We all know. No, yeah.
Yeah, but I think
know.
I think we all know what you're talking about. I agree. One of the problems with craft beer is because it's exploded in such a way in the last 10 years, we've seen people opening craft breweries that maybe, should have avoided it. That didn't have the chops, that didn't have the skills or the wherewithal to pull off some of the harder beers, right? And some beers are easier to brew than others. That's just true. So not every brew is the same. And some breweries probably need to avoid some of these beers and some of these types.
Yeah.
Steve, what don't you like about craft beer?
Also still went the flavor route on my end.
That's good.
And this is also like mildly directed towards a certain brewery, but I'm not going to say their name. But like shoving 40 tons of marshmallow into a brewer and then also putting in like 19 packs of berries that may or may not be ripe, and then to the point where it doesn't have a head when you pour it, because there's so much sugar content, so that it's no longer really a beer to me. Like they're at a brewery, they brew beer, but what comes out of the can is a sludge or like I can't even call it a smoothie. It's
a thick juice.
It's a sludge.
It's just like a clumpy liquid mess that's alcoholic, right?
Yeah.
We're like,
The
guys,
Pokemon.
isn't this great? Like, yo, we shoved 25 Snickers, 40 cans of fluff, and 17,000 strawberries into our brewer.
Are you talking about Coca-Cola Cherry?
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Exactly. That's pretty close.
Hot
right?
take. Hot takes coming from Steve. I
And
love it.
13 cases of Blue Hugs drinks.
He's so right. He's so right.
I don't want chunks in my teeth after I'm drinking a
Yeah,
beer. That's what I'm
it's
getting
true.
at.
I like it. I
That's
like
not a beer.
the
That's
fire.
something
I like the
else.
fire coming from you.
I don't know. Like that's the part that makes me upset because I'm like, it should have a head. It shouldn't have chunks in it. I don't like pulp, like orange juice with pulp. This is beer
Maybe-
with pulp.
maybe you-
I don't want that.
So,
Maybe you just don't like beer, Steve.
so just to review,
True.
Steve,
It's not true.
Steve does not like fruit. Moving right
You like
along,
fruit?
Steve
No, he
hates
loves-
fruit.
He loves coconut.
Oh, Steve loves coconut, hates other fruits. Thank
Give
you.
him
for
a
that
coconut.
clarification.
All right.
Whatever. That's
Zach,
that's my.
what don't you like about craft beer? No, that's a good
I'm
take, Steve. That's a good take.
I'm gonna
Keep
keep
it
it
moving.
simple. My biggest pet peeve with brewers these days is like every time you go, the tap list is entirely different. And if the last time you went there, you got something that you were like, this is the best beer I've ever had, you may never drink that beer ever again.
Mhm.
So you want more consistency in terms of their tap list. Like, so you're a fan of having like a flagship, like having a couple of beers that are standards.
Yes and no. If
Okay.
your flagships are the best beer I've ever had, then yeah, I want that all the time.
Yeah.
If
I
your
wa-
flagships are poop,
If your
then
flagship,
you might as well rotate them.
Doo-doo.
if your flagships suck dumb, then no, I don't want that. But
That's fair.
this will also tie into how I see the breweries of the future. So I will leave it at that.
All right, leave it. Great teaser. Jay, anything you hate about craft beer?
So I'll go off the three previous answers. I just to mirror what Mike said, the same reason I love craft beer is the same reason I hate craft beer.
Absolutely.
And the reason I think Steve is so adamant about his words is because we're both small business owners. Not to speak out of turn, but I think that has something to do with it. And with Zach, I feel like there needs to be standards. And if you to go back in reverse order, the best craft brewers found what worked and they keep it. So like when you go into a Tired Hands, for example, or a Treehouse or a Trillium, or Alchemist, there's always these beers that exist because that's their staples and they know that their consumers loved it.
Yeah,
To go to Steve
they know where the bread is buttered.
and sort of Mike on this one is, as a small business owner, there's a lot of times I feel like people that think they can do something but really can't, but they have the financial ability to do it immediately
Yeah.
to get in on the trend.
Yeah,
That hurts me personally because because the business is booming of craft beer, you have the ability to make a buck immediately if you have the financial income to get yourself in there. And that's kind of a bastardization of the whole thing because the
Right.
whole idea is you are the man's man thing and you're giving back through your beer.
and you're
At
making
least-
something better, right? Like you're
Yeah.
making something better than what's widely available.
Yeah. And a lot of times there's like these beautiful breweries you'll go to, and then the beer is like, if the venue's a 10, the beer's a 2. And it's just such a dichotomy between the two. And you like want to love it because you love where you're at.
Yeah.
But then you start, at least if for me, you start to like make excuses for the beer.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's not how it should be. Because
No.
like and here's the thing, with any business, the ones that are great will exist way longer than the ones. But sadly, especially during COVID, there was a lot of great breweries that went under because they didn't have the financial wherewithal to withstand what had happened, even though they were making better beer.
Their model wasn't prepared for, and kind of like Zach talked about with the shipping and the, like, you needed to adjust quickly and on the fly.
Yeah.
To be able to make that happen.
If the capital's not there, that transition's slower.
Yep.
So
yep.
That's my biggest dislike, is walking into a place that they had all the tools and especially the money to make it great.
But they didn't have the brewer.
It's not even, you could have the brewer. I think if you had waited a little bit and taken that capital a year later and given yourself the knowledge, I truly think it is an industry. I think there's naturally great brewers. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But I think it is chemistry. And if you learn what you're doing and you do it right, you will make a good beer. I think there's math to it. That's all I'm saying.
There's math to it. I think there's a baseline that everyone can achieve, and I think then there's kind of the next level, the greatness, the artistry, the imagination necessary to move past that. I think a lot of people feel like at least they're at the baseline, and I don't think everyone is. Just because you're a home brewer that's made a couple of good beers doesn't necessarily mean you need to open your own brewery. And I think, that message has needed to permeate throughout really the world as this craft beer thing has taken off, and it hasn't. And there have been a lot of breweries that have either opened and closed very quickly, or opened and started distribution and different models to stay open, even though they maybe shouldn't be.
For the record, I don't want to shit too hard on anybody, because we're kind of doing the same thing. There's hundreds of thousands of podcasts out there, and we're making a podcast.
Whoa.
So, but I think we all as a group bring our own thing to it that could be great.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like, I think Treehouse is a great example. Like, when we were up there for your bachelor trip, I think we all had Very Green.
Mm-hmm.
And we all looked at each other and said, "This is the best beer I've ever had."
That's still today, best beer I've ever had in my life.
And the fact that they limited the amount of cans you could get versus everything else was, they understood this is the best beer we ever made.
Yeah.
Like that. I think that's what they have to look at. There's other brewers that I'm close with where I'm like, you could be great, but every time you have a great beer, to Zach's point, it's not on the list the next week. And I'm just like, why just stop making 12 more beers to expand your menu and maybe just keep that one on tap, because that's the one that I would drive 2 hours to go buy.
Refine it.
At the end of the day, I think craft breweries, if you're really going to make a profit, it's about the people like us that are willing to drive 2 to 6 hours to go get your beer, especially if it's not shipped directly. Like, because we will get in a car and go to, if my bar's here and I'm close, if my bars here aren't getting Sloop, I'll hop in the car and go to Sloop, because I know they had to close down a location and I'm down to make sure their other location still stays afloat. So and that all goes back to the culture. The culture is great, but if you keep producing more and more shit beer, that culture is going to go away.
Yeah. It's saturated, right? It's oversaturated. And I think, it's just a reminder that for every great thing that's been created, and I'm so thankful for all of the craft beer that's out there. There's a part of it that is somewhat, it's creativity, it's artistry, it's this, and if you don't quite have it, it shows somewhere. Mm-hmm. And if you're afraid, that's the other thing, and I think you've kind of touched on that. If you're afraid, then you're going to continue to tinker, and you're never going to create the same thing over and over again, and you're not going to refine what you've created to make it better and better and better, to the point where, so I wanted to move forward with this idea of creating our own fantasy brewery. And I it doesn't have to be a super drawn out experience, but what it can be is I asked you guys to come up with a simple thing, like a name, a brief description of what your brewery might look like. And this could be like a physical description, like I imagine my brewery is, or it could be more of like almost your mission statement, like what you want your brewery to be. And then I asked you to come up with, and this is something that we clearly have all talked about, a flagship, right? Like the beer that is your beer. And you know, I've gotten to glimpse at some of your answers because I created it as homework, which is you know, on me. But I'm looking to hear your fleshed out descriptions. So, Mike, I want to start with you. Give us your brewery, that brief description, and then give us that signature beer.
Yeah, keep it quick. My brewery, this is a great name, I thought, and maybe it already exists, but Naked Hops Brewing Company. I started the show with my shirt off. Nobody got to see it because we cut it before then. But so the full name is Naked Hops Brewing, and then parentheses, and Lounge.
Because Mike likes hookahs.
Does that mean there's going to be dancers?
So, traditional brew pub on one side.
It's just me, Zach. Dancing.
Gentlemen's Club on the other side.
Boy.
Oh my God.
Boy. So, right? and the signature
None of us are allowed to
signature
go.
beer. Give us your signature beer.
Signature beer is called No Touching.
Excellent.
I do like that.
Excellent.
It's really good.
But in serious talk, it's a dry hop saison, so it's one of my favorite kind of in my genre. So this beer has got notes of lemon juice, a little bit of grapefruit, some orange. And it's juicy.
All right. Any constructive feedback before we move to Steve's brewery?
I don't see anything wrong with anything that he just said.
Okay, good. I wanted to move on quickly because I felt like what he came up with was perfect.
Right. I don't know if I can even come up with something close to that. I mean, regardless of the FDA regulations that entails.
A lot of issues.
Like, how do you make sure
beer is brewed with
juice doesn't end up in the juicier? Whatever. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the dancers get really weird with the taps.
Ooh, yeah.
Well, the further detail was going to be on the can or on the bottle. The beer is juicy like the dance.
Right. Moving on.
The beer is juicy like the dancers, folks.
Yeah.
Yummy.
Love
I
that
mean,
for us.
a lot of breweries like to describe their beer as wet and dank.
Wet and dank.
Here we go. So, Mike has Naked Hops Brewing. Steve, what's your brewery?
So my brewery is called Jitterbug Brewing. I picked this name because my grandfather, when I was young, he was a ballroom dance instructor, and when I was younger, he would always try to get me to dance, and he'd call me Jitterbug. Mostly because he would hold my hands and make me move my feet and stuff. And
now that's the only thing I'm doing with you. When
That's in direct contrast to Mike's brewery, just so you're clear.
Oh, I know. Mine's super wholesome. It's fine.
Yeah.
So the description of this brewery is that it's, God bless you, it's in a mid-size brewery based in a retrofitted church.
Excellent.
And the tasting room is focused around an old style, checkered board brewing dance floor, like you'd find in an Argentine tango competition kind of thing, but right in the middle.
I'm getting wet and dank just thinking about this place.
So that's where the pews would have been previously if we were in a retrofitted church, and then around that are large communal tables so that everyone kind of has to mingle together. I think that's what we all kind of like about parts of the breweries that we go to, is that we have to sit kind of close to other folks and then ask them what they're drinking and that kind of thing, to kind of create that exchange, and then have regular seating tables on the mezzanine if it's a big church, or up on the altar, just to have that feeling of I want to go sit up on the altar. That sounds pretty weird and dope. I've never done that as a good old Christian boy. And then on top of that, every Thursday we would hold a dance competition. Every Tuesday and Wednesday there'd be dance classes. So it would have this pull through the week of hey, Tuesday's salsa, Wednesday's waltz, and then Thursday's a free-for-all. Just come and dance. It's gonna be great. We'll have a competition. It'll be cool. And the whole menu's Asian fusion because that's what I like to cook. So screw everything else. And then all the beers have some type of dance-related theme to them, in the names.
Jitterbug.
And we'd have a hazy IPA kind of modern craft beer theme
Very
to our
cool.
brewing. So my flagship beer that I would make is called Flashdance. It's a double IPA, obviously. It's juicy, out of nowhere, and unnecessary. And it's the breakout brew, much like Jesse was in Flashdance. If you guys
my God.
Never
So you're
seen
going for
Flashdance.
nostalgia plus, and from my experience, craft beer nerds are nostalgic.
Right, exactly. So
Yep.
we're taking Jessie from Boy Meets World, putting her in her first like feature role as a stripper, right? Much like this would be for us.
Okay,
So
tie in
it's a
some like
hazy beer that's ready to dance, beg, crawl, and sleep its way to the top, if you know what I mean.
all right.
There's notes of your middle school girlfriend's overly pungent lotion from Victoria's Secret. That's like the main note. There's
Yikes.
drops of coconut because I love coconut. Pangs
I
of
just
smooth
got
vanilla
sick.
because I love vanilla. And then just a hint of dank from the sweat of that Jessie left on the set after her hours of gyration.
Why are you still talking?
Filming that photo.
Yikes. All right, so I propose we merge your two breweries as the Naked Jitterbug Brewing. Everybody dances naked. And you guys make a flash dance beer that actually flashes people or something. I don't know.
Steve froze.
Exactly.
It has a
Sorry, my camera died.
That's an awesome place for you to freeze. Actually, here's what I propose. I propose that when you guys combine your beers, you create your Naked Flashdance beer. It has a peel-off label. You zip it off, and you can see a naked person underneath. You don't know if it's a naked man or woman, but whoever it is,
That is
naked.
cool. I like that.
The 50-50 on male or female naked person under the label is enticing.
Right?
Okay.
Right? Intriguing.
It's like
for sure.
those pornographic playing cards.
Yeah.
Like open up the playing
Screwed
cards.
up the whole dynamic of
That's
where
classic, Steve. All right. We've heard
Zach's
two
up.
interesting breweries. Zach, what's your brewery?
So I'm gonna hybridize my answers to streamline everything. My brewery is gonna be like when you walk into Five Guys or similar fast food restaurant and you see that stupid Coke machine that you can click like, I want root beer with cherry, vanilla, and half carbonation.
But you pick your hops?
But you pick your hops and you pick
Nice.
what style beer you want. You're like, I want a Dunkel with strawberry, banana, and whatever.
Speaking of the future, man.
Galaxy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then
That'd be wild.
Wait, so what's your brewery called?
Nobody's doing that.
So I'm
call
gonna go way off script here, and my brewery's gonna be named like a law firm, like Liberio Seibel Anderson Associates.
Yes.
And Sons.
And Sons.
Wait, we're not a construction company.
And I say that because the flagship beer is going to be called the Prenup. So anytime you like have to tell your wife or significant other to like get you a beer, you'd be like, go get me a Prenup.
Yo.
Nice.
Or like you're with all your boys and like, we want prenups.
We want prenup. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
I like
the flagship's just going to be a sour IPA base that you can put whatever dumb fruits and herbs in it on this little.
I would like rosemary.
Yeah, give me a rosemary
oregano.
I'm
lychee.
sorry. This is the best thing
That's
we've
genius because if it sucks, it's on them. It's not
Yeah.
on you.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
It's entirely your fault if you don't like my beer.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
is the
no.
I
best.
like
The
that a
prenup,
lot.
baby. That's what it says on the prenup.
I like
It's
that
your
a lot.
fault if you don't like this.
Steve keeps
That's awesome.
vomiting.
That's
Sorry,
amazing.
man.
Steve's having issues.
Oh my
Wow.
god. There we go. All right. These have been, I mean, talk about future. Like that is the future of brewing, if I have to
I
say.
mean, I
so.
didn't go yet.
Yeah, I know. So
Oh.
so Josh, what's your last what's your idea for your brewery?
So actually, funny enough, when I saw this question, when I was in the process of opening my company, my parents were in the process of, I didn't see Steve's answer until just now, but
Uh-oh.
they were in the process of buying an old church. on South Street in Philly.
Whoa.
And the idea was basically I was asked if I would want to like be part of it. But they wanted to turn the old church into a brewery, and we were going to call it the Tunery instead of the brewery. And the idea behind it was that every day of the week would be a different genre of music. And I remember specifically, and I wrote on your form, that we were going to have Reggae Mondays. And we would, the idea was we were going to hire a brewer because I forget what brewery, it was an old church, but there was already a brewer there. They were going out of business. Oh. So all of the stuff for the brewing manufacturing was already there. And the brewmaster was going to stay on. And like the idea was have an island lager, like jerk tacos, and then have reggae music on Mondays, and then so on and so forth. So we're going to have like a British rock night that would be like
fish and chips,
like Beatles, fish and chips, and then like a pub ale, something like that. And then we could have like Seattle grunge with like West Coast IPAs and stuff like that. And it was a really cool idea. I think at the time, like in retrospect, it was probably great that it never happened, because I would have been one of the guys that I hated that probably went into the craft beer community and didn't know what the they were doing.
But you weren't brewing.
1 hour, 6 minutes. And but yeah, so that would be kind of thing. I don't know if we would have a flagship. I'm sure that over time we would have found like a beer that works best, and we would have just kept it on the menu. But yeah, I think that'd be a great idea. I still, to this day, one of my favorite things about breweries, I already mentioned it, was that every time you go to a brewery, there's usually live music.
Yeah.
And really cool live music, not live music that you get at other places. So, I'm blanking on its name, but like Imprint in Hatfield, not to have like a deep cut for people that are listening that don't know where that is, but outside Philly, there's a brewery, and they specifically kind of bring in acts that are kind of like punk rock, which is really cool, because you don't really see that anywhere else other than going to like an underground venue. So I just thought it'd be a cool place to have like all sorts of music come through, especially in a city like Philly that kind of caters to all sorts of music. I don't think there's a predominantly overbearing genre in the area. So, that was kind of that's my dream brewery, is a brewery that has kind of music themed nights.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think that there's a lot of, and it's worth noting that there's a lot of value to a brewery that kind of knows what it's doing in terms of like, listen, we're creating a more of a destination place for you to come. And the beer is important to us. So we're going to brew our best beer. But our main thing is not necessarily to like brew beer to distribute, but instead to get people to come and experience live music. Like there's value in that, that I think some breweries lose that value, and they get too aggressive in terms of like, we got to distribute, we got to get our beer out of here, and like focus on what you're good at, focus on what you know. And for you live music, and live music would be an awesome hook to get people to come in. I think there's tons of value there, which kind of gets us to the game. I think
did we solve anything?
Well, I think what we did
is solved the beer crisis. It's over.
We solved popping the craft beer bubble.
It's
guys.
Live music and titties. That's a story.
Oh my god! Right. We solved the craft beer.
We solved world hunger.
We solved the craft beer crisis. That
Milk
is the oversaturation of the craft beer market. So it's time for our game, and it's kind of a perfect transition from Josh's concept of a brewery that focuses on music to a game that focuses on music. One of my many hobbies is music in general, is discovering new music and sharing it with my friends and enemies, people I love, people I hate. And in that same light, I wanted to share my music knowledge with you guys, and I wanted to do that via a game. I call this game the popularity contest. So I've handpicked 10 musical artists of varying fame, fortune, popularity, and time period to see how much you know or can predict their music. I'm going to name an artist, and each of you are going to jot down an answer on a phone, a piece of paper, something where it is set in stone. And you're going to predict what you think their number one song on Spotify is.
Oh.
Now,
Yikes.
Now, a note about Spotify, right? Some of you have looked at artist pages on Spotify before. Some of you haven't. Spotify has a weird algorithm for how they dictate the number one song for any given artist. It's not just number of plays. So I did a little research because I wanted to know what goes into choosing the top 5 songs for any given artist on Spotify. And I found out that the algorithm basically takes in 2 factors. It takes in how many plays the song has in general, but also it has a recency bias, meaning how many times has that song been played in the last 24 hours, last month, last year. So it does pull to more recent songs. Now, that being said, I picked artists that don't necessarily always have a recent song. So for some of these, it is going to be a little bit of a straightforward answer of like, what do you think their number one song is? But keep in mind, I did this on Spotify. Okay. And that's kind of the important note. So it's not like number one song ever. It's not Billboard's, anything. This is via Spotify. It is their number one song at this given moment. It refreshes every 24 hours. So I looked it up this afternoon. You guys are not allowed to look at Spotify. Does everyone have a piece of paper somewhere to jot down their answers?
Why don't we just use the chat to keep us honest?
I don't want you influencing my correct answers.
Correct.
Oh, okay,
so the problem is the first person that answers might influence others.
I have this beautiful notebook.
Mike, that is beautiful. You look so dainty.
Cute notebook, Mike. So the info that I found is that the songs that appear under popular on Spotify are automatically updated every 24 hours. The top songs on Spotify have a recency bias. Keep that in mind. It's important to note this information. Are you guys ready to play the popularity contest?
I sure am.
See how much you think you know.
I always want it to be popular.
These particular artists.
I've always been popular, so I think I'm going to win.
All right, excellent. Now, keep in mind, guys, that whoever loses this game, meaning whoever gets the lowest amount of points, will be punished. And they're going to be punished in whatever way I see fit. I think that's the only way to do this. I'm the game creator, so I get to punish you. So be prepared, those of you that are listening, to experience a punishment next time. This is a new thing we're going to try. All right, so number 1, guys, the first question here out of the 10. Mm-hmm. What do you think the number one song on Spotify is for the artist known as Blink 182? Punishment. All right. Does everyone have an answer?
I was going to say pee hole, but I'm not going to.
All right. Y'all good?
Yeah.
All right. Mm-hmm. I'm going to start with you, Josh. Josh, what do you believe the number one song is for Blink 182 on Spotify?
I put All the Small Things.
All right. Mike?
Shit. That should have been my answer. I wrote The Rock Show.
The Rock Show. Okay. Zach?
All the Small Things.
Okay. Steve?
What's My Age Again?
Steve went with What's My Age Again. So I can tell you from my depth of memory.
Is it First Date?
That the number 2 song is What's My Age Again.
Dang it.
So excellent try, Steve, but you came up short. The number 1 song is All the Small Things.
Dang it.
Yeah.
I don't know where Rock Show comes up.
So
now I don't have a pipe cleaner in my tushy.
Do I get the mostest negative points here?
No, it's not a scale. But Josh and Zach both get a point for question 1 of the popularity contest. Question 2 is more challenging, folks. And I actually meant to ask you guys this because I feel bad for you guys. You guys are, feeble-minded a little bit. Did you guys want Did you guys want multiple choice answers?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. Just making sure. I didn't want
Well,
to assume.
maybe for the obscure ones.
It depends on like how obscure the artist is.
Okay.
No,
We
I
vote
Okay.
for it.
I want to name fake songs if I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
I love that. Okay.
That's fine.
So the
Okay.
next artist is by no means obscure, but I think this artist is more challenging only because they're less contemporary. Number 2 on the popularity contest, I need the number 1 most popular song on Spotify for Stevie Wonder.
Oh, fuck.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Everyone write down a song. For some of you, it's just whatever Stevie Wonder song you can think of.
I'm blind.
That's not far off from what I wrote.
All right. Does everyone have an answer written down?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not
All right.
right, but it's fine.
Steve, we're going to start with you this time. What was your Stevie Wonder song?
Superstition.
Superstition. Okay.
good one.
Zach?
I literally could not think of a Stevie Wonder song. So I wrote These Eyes.
These eyes. Mike?
I wrote this is not a song. It's called Can't See These Keys.
Oh, you just decided to drag Stevie Wonder. That's fun. Oh, Josh, I know you wrote a song. What'd you write?
Signed, sealed, delivered.
Wow. So I can tell you right now, if this game was about getting the number 2 song on Spotify, then Steve would be winning
You gotta be
all
kidding
day.
me, man.
Because Superstition is absolutely the number 2 song by Stevie Wonder on Spotify. But the number 1 song, folks, is Signed, Sealed, Delivered.
Fuck you.
That's so dumb.
Yes.
I hate this.
Hey,
He's
Josh,
going to
can you-
start doing like punk rock bands, and I'm going to fail. So don't worry about
Josh, can you blur my middle finger from that?
it. Sure.
All right, so Josh is in the lead with 2. Zach has 1, and then other
0.
people have nothing. Number 3, let's go to a different entire genre and decade and lifestyle choice. I need the number 1 Spotify song for the artist made famous by his Band-Aid. I need Nelly's number 1 Spotify song. Nelly.
Oh man, do I go with that or do I go with the other one?
Think
Is this
about
what
that.
happened on the SAT with you, Steve?
It's got to be
It gives you
recent.
number 2 song regardless.
If
You
this
got to
is
trust your
not a
gut, Steve. You
collaboration
gotta
with
trust your
Tim
gut,
McGraw.
Steve. You got to trust your gut.
That's a good question, actually.
Wait, what'd you say?
So this is gonna be over and over, and I'm gonna love it.
That's technically a Nelly song, I believe.
Judging
All
by
right,
his
so it's not
response,
that.
change your answer.
No, I
I'm
have
just
a
saying
different
it's
answer
technically a
written
Nelly
down.
song. All
There's
right,
no
Mike,
way
we're
I'm
going to start
wrong.
with you.
Me?
Yeah, what do you think the number 1 song by Nelly is on Spotify?
Well, you guys saw before the podcast started, my shirt was off because it was so hot in here.
Oh, snap. He goes with Hot in Her.
Oh damn.
Zach, what's your answer? What do you write? What does
Ah.
that say?
Oh, it says "Ride with Me."
Ride
Oh.
with me. Ride with me. Great song. Great song. Steve, what do you think?
I put hot in here as well.
Hot in Here. And Josh, what do you think?
Country grammar.
Country
Oh.
Grammar. Going
Oh, yeah.
all the way back to Country Grammar. Well, folks, I can tell you, let me run down the top 5 here. Number 5 is a more recent song called Lil Bit. That's
Right.
not relevant. Number 4, guys. Number 4 is Hot in Here. Dang it. Number 4.
Get
Oh,
work.
Air Force
Get
One?
worked, folks.
Watch over and over be number 1. Oh, God,
Number
who is
3
number
is called Just a Dream. I don't actually even know. I
It
can't,
was just a dream.
I can't
Yeah.
Wait,
place that song
that's
in my
on it.
head. Number 2, in terms of the Steve game that we like to play now, we'll call it the Steve game, Ride With Me.
Damn it.
Number 2 is Ride With Me.
Dude, did I get it?
Number 1, nobody got it. Number
Oh.
1 is a banger that came out. It's a collaboration with Kelly Rowland of Destiny's Child. It's called Dilemma.
What?
I don't even know that song.
Pardon?
If I could
part
pardon
of
you,
the
you guys
dream?
need to go listen to it. Dilemma, you'll recognize it immediately. It's not the song you want it to be, though.
Who's
But
the
Nelly's
feature on
number one
Just a
song on
Dream?
Spotify.
Garbage. That's such garbage.
Oh, that's absolutely number one. That
No
sounds
matter
great.
what I do,
Okay.
That
all I
song's
think
awesome.
about is you.
That song's great. Yeah.
Dilemma.
Fine.
Yep. See, y'all know it. But I agree. Ride With Me and Hot in Here are better songs. Anyway, number 4. Let's go back. Let's rewind. Number 4. I need the number 1 song on Spotify for Billy Joel.
Holy smokes.
I feel like this is a trick. This is a trick
Yeah,
one.
this is a trap for sure.
Billy Joel, folks.
Think
You
of
know
what
him, you love him.
dumbass Gen Zers who want to listen to Jilly Joel. What are they listening to?
Julie Bowl?
Jilly
Jilly
Bowl.
Bowl.
What is Jilly Bowl's number 1 song on Spotify?
Is that what I said, Zach? I'm sorry.
At this point, just to remind our listeners, Josh is on the lead with 2 points.
Yeah.
Wow.
Zach,
Zach has a point, and then Steve and Mike still don't have a point because they're sad.
my vision,
Dude,
my
don't give me
vision
that
and my
crap.
words blur when I see Josh's cleavage.
But
Sorry
Steve
about
is
that.
winning in picking number 2 songs, so that's important to note, folks. That Steve is winning.
So I'm in dead last.
number 2s. Billy Joel, let's get your top song. Zach,
All right.
Uptown Girl.
Uptown Girl.
It's a good
Strictly
song.
80s Joel. Strictly 80s
Strictly
Joel.
80s
folks.
Joel, sir.
Strictly 80s Joel. Mike, what do you think?
Piano Man.
Piano Man, a classic Piano Man. Steve?
Me?
Yeah.
Your name's Steve.
We didn't start the fire.
We didn't. Who didn't start the fire?
Dude, that song's on
We
top of
didn't start the
songs
fire.
ever
Steve,
made.
go ahead and list some of those lyrics to me. That's one of the lyrical masterpieces
We
of our
didn't start
generation.
the fire. It was always burning, so the world.
That's the chorus. I want the verse.
Jericho, the Tokyo, blah, blah, blah.
Words.
All I know is JFK blown away. Yeah, that part. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Josh, what do you think the number 1 song for Billy Joel is on Spotify?
I mean, I just went for Piano Man.
Piano Man. So we got 2 Piano Mans. All right. So running down Billy Joel's Spotify situation here.
Uptown Girl.
So number 2, guys. Well, actually, let's start with number 3 because that's a good place to start. Number 3 is a little song called "We Didn't Start the Fire."
God,
Funny,
come
because
on.
Number
that song's on
3.
the list of worst songs ever made.
It's a
too.
terrible.
Damn, it's
It's a terrible
bull,
song.
Manny.
Number 2, guys, is a classic. It's called Piano Man.
Oh!
Number 2 is Piano Man.
It's
Number 1
scenes from
is
Italian restaurant.
strictly 80s Joel, folks. Uptown Girl.
Oh, well done.
Oh, snap.
Well
Nice
done.
job, Zach.
All right. That ties it up, Zach and Josh.
Catalina wine mixer.
with 2
Wow.
points. It was a Catalina wine mixer.
Wine.
We're on to our 5th question with a current tie, so we're getting to our halfway point, and this is going to throw a little wrench in your parade here because this is going to be a little more contemporary.
I hate when there's wrenches in parades.
He threw a
freaking wrench.
Why is your guy throwing wrenches in our parade?
Yeah.
I need the number 1 current Spotify song for Sum 41.
Okay. Got it.
I can only name 2 songs.
You got
So
a
it's one of
50-50,
those.
then maybe. Maybe.
Yeah, I can only name 2 songs as well, but it's got to be one of those. If it's not one of those, that's insane.
God, I hope it's not one of those.
I mean, if they made more than 2 songs, it's news to me.
Then we've been living under a rock.
Maybe I need to dive deep back into the Sum 41 discography.
I think everyone needs to do that.
Yeah.
Dude, did anyone ever listen to the last track on like the first album, and after like 11 minutes of the track, it actually started a new song?
It's called a hidden track, Steve.
Yeah, Steve. What the fuck, dude?
It's a hidden track, bro.
Whatever. It's a hidden track. I used to know all the words to it, just so you know.
Excellent.
sure-
Josh, what do you think the number 1 song on Spotify is for Sum 41?
In Too Deep.
In Too Deep. Mike?
Fat Lip.
Fat Lip. He's
Fat
pointing
Lip.
to his lip, and it's fat. I imagine those are the two songs you guys were picking from.
Yes.
Zach, what do you think?
I said In Too Deep.
And Steve?
Fat Lip.
Wow, so it's a 50-50 split. 50-50 split. Number 2 on Spotify is Fat Lip.
You gotta be freaking kidding me.
Yes.
Number 1 is In Too Deep.
We're still tied.
It's too deep, and I'm trying to
Just
keep up
hosted
above
that
in my
yourself.
head
I don't want to do it again.
instead of going under. Sorry, guys, you're going under. It looks like this is a real runaway. Mike and Steve apparently are dumb.
No, I'm getting the second song right every freaking time.
Steve gets half points.
Maybe you should go to
Josh is
trivia night where
watching.
all the wrong answers win you points, Steve.
Whatever, dude.
Number 6, and we're going to throw it back now. Number 6, I need the number 1 song on Spotify for one of my personal favorites, guys. A band that's near and dear to my heart because they're just so weird. In fact, you could argue that my hair is kind of inspired by them today. I need the number 1 song on Spotify for The Cure.
Whoa.
Robert Smith, My Spirit Animal.
Okay.
Bears.
I'm going to sound like a real asshole if I get the name of this song wrong.
Yeah, dude, that's what like the hardest part about this is. Like, I'm trying to figure out the right title.
Rule book.
You're just grabbing your hair. I was like, Reggie Watts?
Yeah, dude. I thought you were going with
Farrah Fawcett.
no.
I get Farrah Fawcett all the time, so that makes sense.
Cameron Diaz and
The guys who do,
Something
like,
About Mary.
No, Josh, no. I don't have men's semen in my hair. I'm offended that you would think that. All right, so let's start with this. Mike, we've grown up together. We've been close for so long. We've listened to The Cure. So, Mike, what do you think the number 1 song on Spotify for The Cure is?
Yeah, it's not this song, but it was number 2 in the running for our wedding song. I love The Cure. It's not Tuesday. It's not Wednesday. It's not Thursday. It's Friday. I'm in love.
Friday, I'm in Love by The Cure. Okay. Zach, what do you think?
I also picked Friday and I'm in Love, but I was very unsure of which day of the week it was supposed to be.
It's Thursday.
Josh, what do you think?
Same thing. Friday, I'm in love.
Whoa, and Steve?
Sorry, guys. You guys broke up a ton. I couldn't hear anything.
Yeah,
You broke up.
You
You
went
broke
from
up. That
like
was
being on
weird.
your chin.
You
to,
went like this, and then you were like, eh. Steve, number 1 song for The Cure. What do you think?
I don't even know if this is the actual title, but Friday, I'm in love.
God, oh my freaking God.
That's
The most annoying
awesome.
part for me is Steve, first of all, but also
I couldn't hear anything for the last 20 seconds.
Yeah,
so
and
I
the
have
three
no
of us
idea.
said the same thing.
yeah.
Oh, good.
So number 3 on the Cure's list is a song called "Just Like Heaven" that many of you know. Number 2 for The Cure is one of their first. In fact, it's called "Boys Don't Cry."
Boys Don't Cry.
It's a great song, but number 1 is I'm disappointed to say, "Friday I'm in Love."
It's not.
Nice.
And it's not their best song.
No, it's not, but it is one of their most commercially successful songs, and
Yes.
that makes it number 1. Friday I'm in
Did
Love.
I get that right? Because I couldn't hear him.
Mike,
Yeah.
everyone got it right.
God.
It's a wash.
Steve, the problem's on you.
Yeah, everyone else was fine, and Steve's just like, "Oh, you guys are breaking up."
Steve's like picking my nose.
So moving on to number 7 on my list. Again, big departure from The Cure. I need the number 1 song on Spotify for a little-known artist that really has a big personality. His name is, and rest in peace, folks, the Notorious B.I.G.
Ooh.
Got mine.
What's that song name?
Lock it and load it, folks. Notorious B.I.G. I think I'm going to get a funny answer from Zach here.
I'm texting you the lyrics. Can you name me that song?
Can you name me that song?
I can. I'm not going to name it right now, but I'll let you know if that's the right answer. Is that your song?
Man.
Yeah, that's what. That's
okay.
My guess.
All right. I'll accept it. I'll accept what you.
Did you send him?
Submitted.
It was just a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine.
Word Up magazine.
Okay. So, Mike, what did you think the number one song from the Notorious B.I.G. is?
Thinking of Pokemon right here, like Hypnotize.
Hypnotize. Steve, what do you think?
Good one. I was between two. At first, I thought it was going to be Mo Money, Mo Problems.
Mo Money, Mo Problems, baby. Okay,
but then I also thought, like, okay, recent plays also work, and I love it when you call me Big Papa is in that Keanu Reeves movie, and I was like, well, maybe that has better longevity, so maybe it won't be number two. And yes, Fastball, that's right. So I put Big Papa.
Big Papa. All right, so we got Hypnotized. We got Big Papa.
I wrote first. Cross it out.
Josh?
I also was thinking about Fastball for the point of recency, and I feel like a lot of Gen Zers have seen that movie, and I went with Big Papa as well.
All right. So looking at Notorious B.I.G.'s page,
just for clarity, I texted Ben, Biggie, can't you see?
Sometimes your words just hypnotize me. You sent me Hypnotize.
There we go.
So Zach also submitted Hypnotize. Number 4 on Notorious B.I.G. is Mo Money, Mo Problems. So good thing you didn't answer that one. Number 3, though. Number 3 is a little song called Big Papa.
Okay.
Big Papa.
God.
Number 2, though. Number 2.
Don't do it to me.
Number 2, guys. Number 2 is a song that I think some of us don't recognize by its name, but instead by its content. It's called Juicy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a song you guys know, but you guys don't know. But Hypnotize is number 1.
Yes!
Hypnotize is number 1.
Was that putting Mike at 3 points too?
Yes, it does.
Mike's all tied up.
Game is
garbage. You have 4 points, I think.
Oh, okay.
Wait, that one was worth more points?
No, because everyone got Friday I'm in Love, so I think everyone had a point there. So you should, I think, because you were at 2, Zach was at 2, so you should both be at 3.
Yeah, so I have 2 points.
I'm at 4.
Okay, yeah. 4, 4, 3.
2,
oh, you're at 2?
2, 1.
Okay. So Steve's
just bad.
Steve's at 1.
Dude, this is bullshit.
At least you can name the songs, and I just know the chorus.
Hey,
counts.
Whatever works. Again, huge departure for number 8 here. We have a band that is really, I think they're Turkish in actual, or at least the lead singer is. He's had an illustrious career.
System of a Down.
System of a Down. System of a Down. I need the number 1 song on Spotify for System of a Down.
It has to be this one, right? Like,
Make up.
I know the name of that song, though.
It seems like a lot of you are fairly confident in your answer. I'm going to go with Zach first here. Zach, what do you think?
Suey.
Chop Suey. Steve?
same.
Yeah, Chop Suey. Mike?
Chop Suey, I looked it up at 641 million plays.
Wait, why'd you look
it
up?
I already wrote it down and I looked it up.
Oh, I went Chop Suey as well.
Yeah, Chop Suey. Apparently, this was too easy. Chop Suey is the number 1 song.
Also,
there are some other good System of a Down songs.
They got some great songs.
Just to be
great
clear.
Are we going to discuss Mike's gross?
I mean, I'm only slightly offended.
Adulation of the rules.
I almost said Aerials.
I was going to say, so top 4, we got number 4, we got Aerials. Aerials in the sky. Number 3, I'm kind of surprised nobody went with number 3, BYOB. That is a great song.
That is a good
BYOB. Number 2 is Toxicity.
That was off of Mesmerize. Am I right?
That was. All the other songs are off the same album, but BYOB.
Hey, Zach, I normally would take the shot, but I'm a huge System of a Down fan, so like I knew this answer, but I wrote it down and I looked it up. Just wanted to see how many views.
I'm going to trust that you're being honest
yeah.
right now.
I haven't been cheating at all, so I.
Also, August
I feel
Burns
like
Red.
if you catch up, it's
August Burns Red has an
quadruple.
incredible version of Chop Suey.
True, they do. They just put it out. You're not wrong. Number 9, folks. Number 9.
Sorry.
Ooh.
Oh, so good. Number 9. Number 9 is a song or a band that's been around for quite some time for us, part of our generation, but has seen an evolution through time, and that makes them a little harder to peg, I think. But I need the number 1 song for. I looked up Fall Out Boy. I went with Panic at the Disco.
Okay. Oh, it's tough.
Panic at
really
the Disco.
tough.
I need the number 1 song on Spotify for Panic at the Disco.
I don't know any of their song names, so I'm just going to say some
This
weird
one's
angsty
tough because
sentence.
you're right. They've gone through.
They've really evolved.
How many number 1 records have they had? Like it's got to be a lot.
They've really evolved.
I'm good.
Can I go first?
I'm so wrong.
You can give me one moment, and then actually, yeah, go first. What do you think the number 1 song for Panic at the Disco is?
Sorry, if you guys haven't picked yet.
Okay. All right. I'm ready.
You guys all ready?
Yeah.
I'm going to say, because of the recency of the movie release, The Greatest Show.
The Greatest Show.
I have no
Is that
idea.
by them or is that by the guy?
Show!
No clue what that is.
Is it by Brendan Urie, or is
No,
it by
it's
Panic at the Disco?
from Panic.
All right, it's from Panic.
I guess I'm wrong on that.
Yeah,
completely.
that's a wrong answer.
That's a wrong answer.
I was just reiterating Steve's question.
Don't worry, Josh. Mine's a wrong answer too.
Mike, what do you think the number 1 song from Panic at the Disco is?
Mine's wrong. It's my favorite song. I'm pretty sure we did this at your wedding, and it's not the right answer. I'm sure.
Okay, excellent.
I write Sins, Not Tragedies.
I Write Sins, Not Tragedies. Their first
Is
breakout.
that the one where she goes like, because the bride is a whore? Yeah.
I didn't
imagine.
Haven't you people ever heard of
Closing the goddamn door. No.
Zach, what do you think?
So I couldn't name a single Panic at the Disco song, so I wrote, I smelled a guy at a bar and it made me jealous.
I think that wins in general. I think that just wins in general. That's fantastic. Steve?
I wrote this because my dad will continuously sing this song, so I'm hoping it's number 1, is Hey Look Ma, I Made It.
Hey Look Ma, I Made It.
Is that the name of the song, by the way?
That is the name of the song. Hey Look Ma, I Made It. So let's look at the top 5 for Panic at the Disco, because apparently it is a controversial
I
topic.
swear, if it's victorious,
so
that's my second answer. I'm
number 5 on this list is called Hey Look Ma, I Made It.
Yo, come on. This is so
Number
dumb.
5, Hey Look Ma, I Made It. Number 4 is a song called House of Memories. Couldn't tell you what that song even sounds
No one
like.
knows what that is. That's bull crap.
Number 3 is a song that got me into Panic at the Disco. It's called I Write Sins, Not Tragedies. Their first breakout song, I would argue. Number 2.
Is it High Hopes?
Number 2, I don't think
I
it's
didn't
even
think of that.
technically a Panic song. It's actually
Taylor Swift one?
It's a Taylor Swift song. It's
Oh.
called Me. Number 2 is called Me.
Oh,
Taylor
shit.
Swift.
Steve, number 1's High Hopes, I'm sure.
Featuring
I
Brandon
swear to
Urie.
God,
And
if it's
number
High
1,
Hopes,
folks,
so
is,
mad.
as Mike has predicted, High Hopes.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
That is
Makes-
not what I wrote.
Dude, that was my second guess, too, because that's the other song my dad sings all the
I
time.
went with a fucking movie song starring Hugh Jackman and Zac Efron. I'm a fucking idiot.
Wait, show 5 more. Victorious is 9. That's the only other song I even recognize. So, yeah. Sorry, Josh. Number 10, I figured maybe...
Game stinks.
Here's the thing. I figured let's make it easy to finish. What's the score, by the way?
Who knows?
Josh and Zach have 5. Mike
Yeah, we
has
have
3.
5.
I have 2.
Ooh. So this is a big deal.
Let's make this one for 5.
No, I have extra questions if I need them, but
Okay.
I figured let's make the last question easy anyway. I wanted you all to get it right. So I figured let's pick the easiest artist. They have one hit.
Dexy's Midnight Runner.
I need the number one song on Spotify for a little known band called the Beatles.
Oh, screw you.
How is that easy?
Good luck, losers.
This is tough for me because I don't like the Beatles.
The Beatles.
I will carry that cross with you, Zach, and say I'm not.
You can't. That's a bad cross. That cross is on fire. People have really gotten angry about that cross before.
Okay, I'm ready to get number 2, Ben.
Oh, I love that you're going to get number 2. Does everyone have an answer locked in?
Yes.
I'm throwing around 2. All right, I'm ready.
All right. Steve, you seem confident.
Hey Jude is probably number 2.
Hey, Jude. Steve,
Oh, make it be.
Zach.
Let It Be.
Let It Be. Mike.
Another good one.
Let It Be.
Wow, Mike went with Let It Be as well. And Josh?
With a little help from my friends.
I get by with a little help from my friends.
Wow.
All right, so Steve said number 2 was probably Hey Jude. He was right that it was on the list, but it is number 5.
What a loser.
So he was wrong about that. Hey Jude, number 5 on the Beatles' top 5. Number 4 is a little song called Yesterday. I don't know if you guys know that one.
Yesterday.
All my troubles seem so far away.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, popular choice in this crowd because number 3 is Let It Be. Number 3, Let It Be. Number 2, great song. It's got this catchiness to it. Doom, doom, diddle, boom, boom,
Come together.
Come together. And number 1 is Here Comes the Sun.
We
Here
all got it
comes
wrong?
the sun.
Shit.
I said it's all right. All right, so it's tied up, which means we get to go to overtime. I have a couple of overtime tiebreakers. We'll start with a big time artist, one that had just did a podcast with some guy named Barack Obama, and that is Bruce Springsteen. So I need the number 1 song from Bruce Springsteen.
Can we all answer?
You can all answer, but it's really between Josh and Zach to who wins.
Okay.
Although it's really a loser's game, right? So I think we just get to punish Steve. Whoopsies.
Dude, more of my wrong answers were higher in the list than Mike's wrong answers.
I don't know
Let's
if you've
be
heard this
honest.
old
I have
adage,
more
but
right answers than
close
you.
only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, Steve.
Yeah. And Steve,
It's
I have
such
more right
crap.
answers than you.
And I can say the word grenades.
Also, you're due for hosting again.
All right. So, Steve, number 1 song for Bruce Springsteen.
Doesn't matter, but Glory Road.
Glory Road. Mike?
Born in the USA.
Born in the USA. All right. Now, the answers that matter. Zach, what do you think?
I'm going to go way off the wall here because I don't believe Josh will get it right. And it's going to be Secret Garden.
Excuse me?
What?
Secret Garden.
Secret Garden.
Way off
Look
the
it-
wall.
Look it up.
He's hoping that you don't get it right, Josh. He wants to go to extra overtime.
I just went down the middle of the road. I did Born in the USA.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom.
It's people now.
All right, so looking at the top 5 for Brucey, Bryce Springsteen, as he's called in the
Bryce Springsteen.
In
Bryce
New
Springsteen.
Jersey.
He's a lacrosse player at Duke.
At number 5, number 5, Bryce Springsteen. His biggest song is number 5 song is "Born to Run." You guys know that one. Number 4, I'm disappointed. The song's called Streets of Philadelphia. Have some respect for the city. Number 3 is a song called I'm on Fire. It's just really unfortunate. Number 2 is Born in the USA. And number 1, guys,
Pink Cadillac
is
Dancing in the Dark.
Is Dancing in the Dark.
No, fuck, that was the one I was going to say too.
Dancing in the Dark.
Yeah, I knew Josh would get it wrong. So
Dancing in the Dark. All right.
Oh my God.
Next tiebreaker.
Hey, by the way,
and I keep saying the F word.
We got a lot of cutting to do. This is long, but listen to that podcast with Obama and Bruce. It's good.
Excellent.
I want to let you know that
hot take on this podcast, but I can't stand Bruce.
Yeah, that was, and I'm amazed that it's not, to be honest.
Because he's friends with Obama?
No, because never mind. I'm not getting into
Anyway.
I'm going to have Bridget call me after this.
Number 12. Number 12, folks, in our list here. I need the number 1 song for these guys. I believe he went to Juilliard, which is really impressive. Super talented artist. His name is Zach Brown, and he has a band.
Oh, God.
So I need the number 1 song on Spotify for Zach Brown Band.
I know it for sure.
I think I know it.
I don't know what the name of the song is, but I can sing it.
Well, send me the lyrics, and I will verify your answer.
It's a tough one, too, because
he's got a couple of big ones, folks.
Also, he's a great guitarist.
Yes, he is. Zach Brown is a fantastically skilled.
His band is badass.
I just thought of another one, though, that it could be.
Oh, gosh. I really think it's really between 3 songs for him. But we'll see if you guys get the 3 songs that I'm thinking.
Wait, was it Knee Deep? Featuring
Whoa,
stop.
Did I just send you the lyrics to a Jimmy Buffett song?
Nope, you didn't.
Okay, good.
You sent me lyrics to a Zach Brown song.
All right, that's my song.
All right.
Okay.
Steve, Zach Brown, go.
Well, is it between Chicken Fried and Toes in the Water, or is it just Toes?
It's just Toes.
It's just called Toes.
Toes. I'm going with Toes because I think it's Chicken Fried, which makes me think that has to be number 2. So I'm going with Toes, which may mean that it's number 1.
Guys, if Steve was taking the SAT right now, he would get a 0. Let's just say that. All right. This guy is so in his head. He couldn't find his way out of a paper bag. It's awesome. It's awesome to listen to. Mike, what do you think?
Well, in my recent love of country music, I feel like Toes is number 1, and I don't care what my answer is, so it's Chicken Fried. That's number 1.
Okay, that was a really confusing way to answer that question.
I think Toes is the answer, but I'm going with Chicken Fried.
Oh, you're going with Chicken Fried. All right. Okay. Zach sent me the lyrics to Toes, so he's going with Toes.
To be fair, that could easily be a Jimmy Buffett song.
Well, interestingly enough, he has a feature with Jimmy Buffett, and it's not Toes,
and it's called Knee Deep. It's a different body part,
different part
also in the water,
stuck in the water.
Which is, I would argue, the third song in the trifecta of songs that you could think were the number 1. Josh, what do you think?
I put Chicken Fried.
You put Chicken Fried as well.
So I think it's a bar favorite. So I think Spotify kind of goes with that.
So here's the thing, guys. The game is over. We have a winner.
Oh,
that's exciting, right? Because the number 2 song, first of all, Steve's favorite song, the number 2 song, is Knee Deep, the song that you guys kind of avoided.
Deep in the water somewhere.
Yeah.
There you go. Which leaves us with 3 and 1, which is the answers that you guys came up with. Number 3 is a song that, again, all these songs are great, right? But number 3 is a song all about, enjoying life, about, right. It's about just
that's
a
his
great
whole thing.
it's just about a great time. You could argue it's about in some ways it's about vacation, right? It's about life.
Oh my God.
It's called Toes. Number 3 is called Toes.
Oh, that's number 3.
It's the most infuriating thing
Which
I've
means
ever
that
done in my
number
life.
1,
Chicken fries number
because
1?
Steve, guys, whatever answer that Steve comes up with, just don't go with it. Just don't go with it, because number 1 is chicken fried.
Yeah, Josh.
Little bit chicken fried.
Yeah, Josh.
Let's go.
Hey, Josh, how many times have you had to sing chicken fried?
Too many times. Also, Toes. Zach Brown's like up there with Neil Diamond at this point.
Yep.
Like, Sweet Caroline.
Yep. I have
my
no
goodness.
doubt. I have no doubt. So, folks, thanks for listening to the Phriendly Pod. It's been a wild ride. Next time, listen for our punishment for Steve. He's clearly the loser here. He's the worst.
Nipple piercings.
Loser.
Hey,
I would not do that, but maybe.
It might be. That might be what it is. Follow us on our Instagram. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Listen to our Spotify playlist if you dare. Next week, there'll be some dope Jason Derulo and Coldplay songs on there for you. I know you guys are missing them. Thanks for listening, guys. This has been Phriendly Pod. See you later. Peace.
Well done, Ben.
Bye-bye.